Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Esther Vese. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olonishakin is again highlighting the importance of intelligence sharing to combat terrorism around the Lake Chad Basin. Olonishakin, who was speaking at an international conference on the Lake Chad in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, said intelligence sharing will go a long way in reducing security challenges in the country. Other speakers at the event also agreed that civilians have a role to play in combating security issues.
Intelligence on climate security risk assessment, implication of governance, and access to natural resources could be essential for this purpose. This is to analyze perspectives and come up with ways to checking and preventing conflicts based on early warning. Evidently, the role of intelligence in restoring peace in the Lake Chad region cannot be overemphasized.
Intelligence is the most important capability in the fight against terrorism. As an invaluable force multiplier, intelligence makes all the difference between the timely interception of a terrorist and the commission of a terrorist act. It matters not what other capabilities we bring to the field so long as our intelligence system is faulty. In recognition of this reality, we are committed to ensuring that our intelligence system works across the multinational spectrum.
As partners and allies in the fight against Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa, to consider our current approach to intelligence, both what we are doing well and where we can improve. Our adversaries prey on and exploit the grievances of local communities to get information, win support, and gain strength. And defeating these enemies requires more than soldiers, attack planes, and special forces teams. It requires civilian-led initiatives to restore governance, to promote economic growth, and regain the trust of the population.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has issued a directive to airport officials to step up security and passenger screening. The directive was contained in a letter sent by the Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Customs Service. This is in response to a message from ISIS militants who are plotting to bring bloodshed to the skies as part of new global terrorism strategy. Now, British media UK Sun had also reported that leaders of Islamic State IS are sneaking battle-hardened extremists from Syria into Nigeria for a training in a chilling exchange program. The British media also reported that IS have threatened to exploit regular flights between Lagos and London to export more evil to the United Kingdom. In other news, the Nigerian military have arrested two suspected militia gangs who are reported to be terrorizing residents of Katsina, Allah, and its environs in Benue State. The Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, said in a statement that the Army acted on a tip-off and recovered a locally made gun, one pistol, and several rounds of ammunition. Chukwu said that the preliminary investigations revealed the suspects are members of a notorious militia gang led by one gunner who is now at large, adding that efforts are on to arrest other fleeing members of the gang. He, however, urged the members of the public to always report suspicious activities in their areas to the law enforcement agencies. The United Nations says about 500,000 people are killed yearly using arms such as revolvers, pistols, assault rifles, machine guns, and other similar weapons. It's in a report titled Small Arms Survey. It is estimated that there are over 1 billion legal and illicit firearms in the world today, including 857 million in civilian hands. It also found that American men and women were the dominant owners owning nearly half of all small arms in the world. Now, the UN Chief of Cabinet, Maria Via-Oti, says these small arms and light weapons, which ended up on battlefields or urban streets and elsewhere, have become a big problem for the world. Via-Oti also added that while those pulling the trigger range from soldiers and police officers to civilians, sometimes acting in self-defense, most are members of armed groups, terrorist organizations, criminal gangs, or national security forces who are abusing their power. Now, in a related development, the UN is also reporting that a record 68.5 million people have been forced to flee homes due to war, violence, and persecution, notably in places like Myanmar and Syria, the UN said on Tuesday. Now, by the end of 2017, the number was nearly 3 million higher than previous year and showed a 50% increase from the 42.7 million uprooted from their homes a decade ago, and that's according to a report by the UN Refugee Agency. The report showed that 16.2 million people were freshly displaced last year and included those forced to flee for the first time as well as those who had been previously displaced. This equates to some 44,500 people being pushed out of their homes every day, or one person every 2 seconds. And most people flee within their own country and are defined as internally displaced people or IDPs. Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to finally sign the 2018 budget into law on Wednesday. The signing comes more than a month after the 9.1 trillion naira document was passed by the legislature on May 16. The lawmakers had added 500 billion naira to the 8.6 trillion naira proposed in November 2017. They also increased oil benchmark from $44 to $51 per barrel. Now, it has been reported that the signing ceremony will replace the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, which has been cancelled owing to the Salah break. Now, at the last meeting, presidential spokesman Femi Adesina assured that the budget will be passed this week. Now, the All Progressive Congress, APC, on Tuesday kicked off its governorship campaign in Ekiti State. APC will be represented at the governorship elections on July 14 by Kayode Fayemi. At the event, the national leader of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, called on Ekiti residents to get ready to overthrow the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP. Tinubu noted that Fayemi is fit to rule Ekiti State because he was once a governor of the state and also served as a minister of the Federal Republic. Fayemi, a former minister of steel and solid minerals and ex-governor to the state, is seeking a second term in office as governor. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called on the All Progressives Congress, APC, to prepare to accept defeat by the People's Democratic Party in the Ekiti State gubernatorial election. Atiku advised the people to be ready to follow PDP's footsteps as it also considered defeat in the 2015 presidential election. The former vice president expressed satisfaction with the level of his party's preparation for the upcoming governorship election. He added that he hopes the opposition party will accept the outcome of the election. In other news, a federal high court has stalled the trial of the former Inspector General of Police, Sunday Ehindaro, and a former police commissioner, John Obani, as a result of the absence of the judge, Justice Giovannis Origi. The duo were arraigned by the Independent Corruption Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, on a 5-count charge bordering on fraud and conspiracy. The prosecutor, Oji Iwagu, told the court that the defendants committed the alleged offense between May 2006 and November 2006, when they allegedly conspired and used their positions to take 500 million naira in 2 fixed deposit accounts. He told the court that the money was part of the 557,995,065 naira donated by the Bayelsa state government to the Nigerian police force for the purchase of arms and ammunition. The case was adjourned to June 26 for the continuation of hearing. You're still watching News Now. Up next is News in Business. Stay tuned.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now, I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I'll just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
But you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
people to get only 10 people to register to vote, 10 new voters. Each of us standing here today, when you get back home, when you get to your place of work, your school, try and get 10 new people that do not have their PPC to register to vote. We're going to take on our website onevoice.ng, onevoice.ng. Please go there, give us the information. If you get 10 people to vote, then you're amongst us.
So at least start with your voter's card and begin to use that to bargain about the type of person you want to see on February 16, 2019 and March 2nd on the ballot paper.
So we want to focus on people who haven't voted before. It's 100,000 people who are looking to pledge that because that gives us a minimum of 1 million new voters.
Instead of to say, my vote no go count now. Try vote first, maybe you see whether it will count, you know.
Many thanks for joining us on Business News on News Now. I am Annetta Felix. There is some good news for Nigerian entrepreneurs as the Minister of Agriculture, Aldo Obey, has announced that the government plans to offer 5% interest rate loans to entrepreneurs through the Restructured Bank of Agriculture. The minister made the announcement at a youth forum organized by the Guardians of the Nation International in Abuja. Our correspondent has more.
Gathered in this hall are some of Nigeria's most creative minds and young entrepreneurs looking to make a name for themselves. They are here to debate on some of government's policies with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Aldo Obey. The minister begins the speech by highlighting what he feels is delaying the growth of most Nigerian businesses.
Each time there is a dramatic and unconstitutional damage to the constitution of the country, there are more damages than you can imagine, especially to the economy. And it's the economy that's the biggest disease tormenting you young people today. You can't find jobs, you have ideas you want to create, you can't find money, you have nobody to talk to, and you just wonder what to do with your lives. Am I right or wrong? Now, what is even worse? You can't go to a bank and borrow money. Now, imagine a young man or young girl who graduates and decides that, well, I can't find a job, let me do hairdressing. You need some nice space, paint it up, put your washers, dryers, put a small gen set, maybe a freezer where you're selling some coke while the women are doing the hair. You need about probably maybe 1 million naira, maybe $500,000. There is no place in this country today where you can walk in and say, look, this is my dream. Can I borrow this and set it up? Nobody will lend you the money. But if they have to, the interest rate is such that you can't pay. And anyway, you must have a security in a Sokoro or Maitama, which presumes that you're already a millionaire. If you were, why would you borrow? That has been the tragedy of Nigeria's economy for the last 35 years.
After that, he assures the listening youth that the government has a plan to improve the situation.
Where the money is in the new Bank of Agriculture, which we have now restructured. We want to bring the interest rate to at least 5%. actually. If you have problems, we'll have it. But you can't run away with the law. And I told you it's wrong. You make your money.
After the minister's address, the convener, Linus Okorie, reminds the youth to be wary of the tough competition in the business world.
Everyone is looking for new ways of doing things. You are no longer competing with your friends in Nigeria. You are competing with your friends in India, in Singapore, in the United States of America, which means you can no longer be a local champion. That's right. Even if you want to be, something is going to happen. Nigerians, most of the time, will concentrate on the negatives too much. But sometimes, in every man's experience, the life of every man, there are positive and there are what? Negative experience that can help somebody not to lose his path or her path.
The interest rate of the Central Bank of Nigeria has been stuck at 14% since July 2016, while commercial bank lending rate is sometimes as high as 30%. That, therefore, makes the proposed 5% offer by the government more than attractive.
International credit rating agency Moody's Investors Service has said the key issue for Nigeria will be improving its ability to generate revenue. Moody's said on Monday that although Nigeria's economy, external positions and public finances were expected to stabilize, its continued dependence on oil and gas meant it will face a range of challenges in the coming years. Nigeria and Angola are two of sub-Saharan Africa's largest economies, accounting for close to 40% of the nominal gross domestic product of the sovereign that Moody's rates in the region. According to the report, while increase in oil production will support a pickup in growth in both countries in 2018, they face challenges in attracting more investment in a low oil price environment. Oil prices fell nearly 1% on Tuesday as an escalating trade dispute between the United States and China triggered sharp sell-offs in many global markets. Crude was also weighed down by expectations that producer cartel OPEC and key ally Russia will gradually increase output. The United States and China are threatening punitive tariffs on each other's exports, which could include oil supplies, putting pressure on shares markets. Brent crude futures were at $74.69 per barrel, while U.S. crude futures were at $65.24 a barrel, down 61 cents. All traders are closely watching the threats by China to react to U.S. tariffs by putting a 25% duty on U.S. crude oil imports, which have been surging since 2017 to a value of almost $1 billion per month. Resuming from its two-day break, the Nigerian Stock Exchange kicked off the week's trading in the negative territory, recording a 0.68% decline in key market indicators, with 20 gainers led by international breweries against 34 losers led by Unilever. The equities markets closed today's trading, recording a total of 390.466 million shares, worth 6.115 billion naira, being transacted in 3,889 deals. Meanwhile, the top traders table was dominated by UBA, Zenith Bank, Axis Bank, and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria. And now up to date in news in the world of business. I am Annetta Felix. The rest of the news continues in just a moment.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we are in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
You're welcome back. On the foreign scene, at least 39 people have been killed, more than 1,000 displaced since attacks by armed groups in northern Mozambique, where huge gas reserves are being deployed. Mozambique experienced its first violence, which broke out in the northern province of Cabo Delgado in October last year. The United States Embassy had last week advised its citizens to leave the province after attacks increased in a region where Anadarko Petroleum is beginning to develop a $15 billion liquefied natural gas project. Now, Mozambique has not been a focal point of Islamist militant activity in the past, and police have been reluctant to ascribe the attacks to Islamists. Now, about 30% of Mozambique's 30 million people are Roman Catholics, about 18% are Muslims. Not more than 15 people were killed in Abidjan, Ivory Coast economic capital, as a result of flooding caused by torrential rain overnight. Now, Interior Minister Sidiki Daikite said the downpour, which started by 11 p.m. on Monday night, didn't end until 6 a.m. on Tuesday, however, causing flash floods up to 2.5 meters, that's more than 8 feet deep. Now, rescue teams saved 115 people and searches were underway for other casualties, he said. A city of 5 million, Abidjan suffers from infrastructural problems and many homes are built in flood-prone areas. And now in sports, Senegal became the first African team to win at the 2018 World Cup after defeating Poland 2-1 on Tuesday. The African side took a 37th-minute lead when Idrissa Gueye's shot took a massive deflection off defender Taigo Sinek to wrong-foot the keeper. Then on the hour, woeful defending allowed Mbaye Niang to tap home into an empty net before Poland pulled one back late in the match. Meanwhile, Japan got their World Cup campaign off to the perfect start with a 2-1 win over Colombia, who suffered the tournament's first red card after only 3 minutes. Colombia's Carlos Sanchez was dismissed for handball as Japan won the penalty, from which Shinjin Kagawa gave them the lead, and although Juan Quintero leveled, Yuya Osako headed the winner after the break. Sanchez became the first player to be sent off at the 2018 World Cup. It was the second fastest sending off in World Cup history after Alberto Batista's dismissal for Uruguay against Scotland in 1986 after just 54 seconds. Former FIFA chief Sepp Blatter will attend 2 World Cup matches and also meet Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, Blatter, who will defy his ban, is being investigated by Swiss prosecutors for alleged corruption during his 17-year reign at the as the head of FIFA. Now, the 82-year-old was suspended for 6 years by FIFA in February 2016 for any football-related activities over a 1.8 million euro payment to Michel Platini. Blatter was replaced at the head of FIFA by Gianni Infantino. Now, away from football, Kenya is set to begin their Rugby Africa Gold Cup campaign with an away clash against Morocco on Saturday, 23rd June. This is exactly 11 years to the day since their only win after the Moroccans, a 23-16 result at Nairobi RFUEA ground in 2007. With this year's competition also doubling up as the African qualifying round for the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan, the importance of starting on a winning note is not lost in the Simbas, who are winless in their previous 2 visits to the North African country, losing 29-3 on the 7th of May 2015 and 29-11 on the 11th of July 2009. Well, that's it on business news. News Now. Do log on to our website at www.tv360nigeria.com to get more news updates and watch our other programs. You can also watch us on Facebook at facebook.com/TV360online and on Twitter at twitter.com/TV360Nigeria. We are also live on YouTube at youtube.com/TV360Nigeria, and we are also on Google Plus, and our handle is TV360Nigeria. Thank you very much for watching. I am Esther Vese.